in your interest instead of just using a siren and getting to that meeting, Franklin?
So it depends qualitative outcomes of the meeting itself. If it is a meeting to go and pass a bill to pay $1 billion to ACRE so that we would have lost that money in record time, maybe no. If it is a bill to all the cement regulations, cement price regulations, I mean, have you seen the LI? It's really upset. I mean, if it is a bill to do something like that, I frankly I don't understand. I'm in a hurry to go and do things like that. Look, many people have said this thing just doesn't make sense. Let's not stretch it. Before you realize, assemblymen, chairman of ward committee, whatever, political parties, people will start asking for all kinds of exemptions because these MPs and the executive and whoever have this exception. Is that the sort of society we want to create? What if the roads get jammed? They will now ask for helicopters so that they can fly above everybody else. I mean, look, this thing. I shared hellfire the first time. I never wanted to say a thing because I wanted to gauge exactly what people would think, and exactly what is playing out. Exactly what I thought is what is playing out right now. This thing just doesn't make sense, not at all. So let's not even glorify it by having a proper discussion over it. I mean, in other jurisdictions, when MPs or even political leaders are found to break the law in terms of just going over a little over the speed limit that everybody is supposed to keep, they get fined, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, why would you want to be given access to make noise? In fact, the siren actually makes a lot of noise, and then on these very cantankerous routes. What about asking for the rules to be expanded and done well? I thought one thing comes before the other. You know, parliaments have been said to be makers of their own laws, and that they can. The only thing they cannot do is to change a man to a woman. I've forgotten who said that. I've forgotten my government lessons. You probably know. And I think this is one of them. You cannot just make any law anyhow. I don't think it helps at all. By the way, did you know that the presidency actually issued a stern warning in 2017 as well as 2021, May 25th, May 2021, to members of parliament and ministers to desist from using sirens, and then obviously, sirens it was at the time.
Now I actually have the statement. The statement signed on... Yes, Franklin, I have the statement dated 19th May 2021, the one you're making reference to, where it talks about a ban on the usage of sirens. It says, for the avoidance of doubt, the said ban on the use of siren covers the following: honorable ministers and regional ministers and deputy ministers, MMDCEs, CEOs of government agencies, officials of the presidency, unless otherwise designated. Yes, Franklin, go ahead.
Well, so at the end of the day, I don't know how all of a sudden they decided to get the executive to quietly bring this back into the... I don't know who actually laid the bill. I have to find out who actually is sponsoring that bill. Is it the executive now? That the executive is now fine and happy that everybody else in parliament and ministers can make noise with sirens and actually railroad everybody by using the road. I don't understand it. So I want to know exactly whether that is the situation.
Great.
Look, this thing just doesn't make sense. You know, if you argue, if my good friend Andy appears arguing that, well, they need to get to a place quickly and that they get late, well, who is it? Dr. Pebby is telling you, why don't you get up early? You know, it reminds me of a story I read. I think it was the French journalist Bastille, who had hypothetically was suggesting that candlestick makers were accusing the sun of burning the candles. And so they went to Parliament to ask Parliament to pass a law against the sun. That's typically what is happening here. I mean, fix the fact that you get up early, go to your meetings, and get the road working for everybody else. And stop blaming your lateness as a result of some important thing you need to do.
Now, I mean, Dr. Pebby earlier started with, the bit about leadership and how it's irresponsible if you're consistently doing the same thing. He's talked about the fact that if you work in a kitchen, well, once a while, you get pepper in your eyes. But if it happens all the time, then it means you have a challenge. Let's briefly, Franklin, before I get to Dr. Pebi, let's look, analyze the psyche. Why would a member of parliament, why will a minister of state, who's supposed to be helping fix the traffic situation, decide to have himself insulated from this?
Oh, you haven't read I'm sure you've read the 1984 George Orwell's, what's it called?
Oh, Animal Farm?
So, when people become too comfortable, they tend to pass all kinds of things. They call it the excellence of life. You begin to think that you are way above everybody else. That's what I'm saying, that the next thing you realize is that everywhere is jammed. They now will be looking. Maybe need to get helicopters or get cars that can fly. And then it has it anywhere. So for me, look, it is just people being too comfortable. And I've had some of my good friends. This morning, I had a good laugh with my good friend Honorable Pujamaki. I said, please, let's don't try it. I mean, if you try it, you see the angst already. People are angry already, and I don't think you want to anger them a lot more. I've seen what's his name, Dr. Dominic Ayini also write all kinds of things. Well, you should just go ahead and pass it and see what he saw people do to him.